Damn it. Yo, it's my birthday. What is it, like the 22nd time I've had a birthday? Ugh, so you know what that means. Well, probably not, because I'm notoriously inconsistent, but we're gonna look at a game from my childhood that, it's not very good. Finding Nemo for Game Boy Advance, based on the movie Finding Nemo. Developed by Vicarious Visions, who made a shitload of movie-based games and every Guitar Hero ever, apparently. But the true villains are the publisher, THQ. Yes, if you've ever played a bad video game based on a movie or a cartoon, chances are you've been a victim of THQ. Unfortunately, there is no hotline to call or a way to get your money back all these years later, but just know that you are not alone. There were many bad games, but in the end, we all survived them. And THQ didn't, because making shovelware can't keep a business alive forever, so it died. And then an Austrian necromancer called Nordic Games resurrected it, and is now controlling it as a zombie puppet that can no longer hurt innocent children who just wanted to play a game with SpongeBob in it. So I also own this game on PS2. I've never played it, and I didn't have time to include it in this review. Just as well, though, all the different versions of the game seem to have similar ratings. Ratings that I would consider to be bullshit. Maybe things were different back in 2003, I was only 8 at the time after all, so perhaps I've forgotten, but I really fucking doubt that playing Finding Nemo on GBA is almost as much fun as watching the movie. Hell, Game Vortex gave it a 90%. Really, this is what a 9 out of 10 game looked like in 2003. Move the fuck over, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. This game based on a kid's movie is the true sleeper hit of the year. So the game starts off in the usual way with a level select screen, except it's pointless and it sucks because the game uses a goddamn password system. Okay, was it just more expensive to give a GBA game a save feature, or was it something you could only do if the game was small enough? I remind myself again that Spy Kids 3D had saves, and yet a fucking Disney game expects me to write down a level password like I'm playing a cheap NES game. Could have been worse, though. It could have been way worse. Whatever, starting up the first level, we see a classic form of GBA cutscene, poorly compressed stills from the movie with text underneath them. Although some of the cutscenes are just character sprites standing still with text displayed over them. When you finally start the game, Yo, modern games, have I ever told you that I love you and I never want to look back? Fuck's sake. Okay, the main goal of every stage is to make it to the end and not die. You have 5 health points and you can restore them by touching anemones. So avoid dangers like these fucking things, and these fucking things, and try to swim through bubble rings. If you get 10 bubble rings, you get a star ring. And in case you're wondering, no, the star rings don't do anything for you during the level. They're more useless than the stars in Shadow Showdown, but we'll get to their purpose in a bit. Many of the levels are puzzle-based. You know, if you count taking an object to a certain destination a puzzle. Seriously, there'll be an oyster blocking your path and you have to drop a pearl in it to make it close. Fuck me, that's weak. You also might have to face the true challenges of hitting a rock, charging at a rock to break it, and switch puzzles. The horror of death by boredom. And then, after the level is over, prepare yourself for a card matching game. Yeah, this is where those star rings come in. The number of star rings represents the number of tries you have for the card game. And what do you get if you finish the card game? A picture. And yes, I know this game was made for dumb children, but I was a dumb child when I first played this, and I still didn't like it. I just played it because I owned it, and because I sucked at everything and couldn't get past a certain level. See, the game sometimes throws in chase sequences, which I guess is fair. There were a few chase scenes in the movie. Most of them throw you into an awkward perspective change, especially this one where you have to avoid the anglerfish. But then there's the side-scrolling chase section where you have to escape the shark. And for some fucking reason, I could never get past it as a kid. I mean, fuck, the shark barely touches you with his nose and you're dead. I believe this is the part I got stuck at as a kid because it's fucking horseshit. What the hell? That's right, it's a one-hit kill, it's fucking horseshit. What the fuck? He didn't even fucking... He barely touches you and he... No, come on. Fucking... He doesn't even touch me. Fuck that. In fact, I recall asking the kid in my class who had a codebook to give me the final level password just so I could play the rest of the game, and I still didn't like the levels that came after it. You know, because the game sucks. But still, thanks for the code, Paul, if you're watching. Paul's not watching this, that was like 13 years ago. He might be dead now for all I know. The other levels are weak, even by the game standards. One level is literally just mini-games that you have to complete in order to prove that you can help escape the fish tank, which leads to a maze where you have to take a pebble to the filter. It sucks. Another level ends with you finding Dory trapped in a field of jellyfish, high out of her fucking mind because I guess she was as bored with this game as I was. I'll be sure to join her when weed is legal next year. Just kidding, I get high on life. And salvia. The end of the game isn't even really an ending. It shows one last cutscene, another card matching game, and then the credits play. Credits that last 3.5 minutes, by the way. How did it take so many people to make a game that turned out this bad? Fuck this, I'm gonna go get a real job. Wow, that sucked. I think the only thing to do now is humanely euthanize this game and then go drown my sorrows in awful dating sims that I am way too old to be playing. So if you want to see what's next, subscribe and the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.